Hi guys, it's me. There was no video last night because I got off of work way later than I thought I would. Um, just job stuff, had to work late. Um, I did watch an hour of that Tucker Carlson interview with Fuentes, and that was about all I could tolerate because, yeah, Tucker was literally just nodding his hand, going, "Amazing, yes, man, yes, man, I'm a yes man, awesome, yes, awesome," to fucking Fuentes and everything he said. The only thing that caught him off guard was the Stalin one, where he's like, "We'll circle back to that. I skipped forward." They never circled back to it. That's confirmed. So here's my thing about it. I have almost zero problem with Nick Fuentes having his own platform. I am very much a big fan of let the evil thing shine in the light. My thing about the evil thing is that we as a society need to look at it, laugh at it, make fun of it, and mock it for being evil, bad, and horrible. We need to make them feel like stupid idiots for thinking that way, because they are stupid idiots for thinking that way. It's that simple. That's how you handle these people. That's how you end up actually keeping them in check. Otherwise, yes, they do just get to pretend to be an ostracized part of society and grow in power and become something dangerous. It's that simple. Anyways, Asmon Gold's now doing an entire thing talking about Ben Shapiro apparently being done. I just saw this pop up on my feed. So, let's go look at that and respond to that and see what the Roach King thinks about all this.
Ben Shapiro, holy shit, has lost at least 20,000 subscribers on YouTube over the past 2 weeks.
I think that Kevin really screwed things.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think Ben Shapiro cares in the slightest. The difference between Ben Shapiro and most people in modern day is he actually stands and believes in his morals. Something more of us should do. I know most of us don't have morals worth a damn, but grow some, get some, hold on to them. They're worth developing.
Up last week when he decided to inject himself into this controversy with his vociferous defense that contained some rather charged language. I think he's doing the right thing by pointing out the obvious, which is that if somebody glosses Nazis on the air, that person probably should not.
Is he still fighting to make people not bring Nick Fuentes on TV? How long is this going to go on? Does he know that this is like, it's just going to get worse? Like, this is, you're not going to win this argument. They're going to bring him on anyway. And here's the reason why, Ben. It's because Nick brings in views.
That's right. And, Asmon's totally right here. That is what people care about. People care about money and views more than they do about morality and ideas. This is what I've been talking about when I say that people look at the surface level of the pond, and the problem is at the depths of the ocean. Our problem is our moral understanding and thought process as a human society is fucking garbage.
Brings in views from people that love him, and he brings in views from people that hate him. That's why he gets invited.
Yep.
You can get mad and cry and bitch about it all you want.
He's totally
but
right.
At the end of the day, these places don't care about America. They don't care about Israel either.
Yep.
And guess what? They're going to upload whatever they think is going to make them the most money.
That is
and if that means interviewing
true.
What you think a Nazi or a white supremacist is, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Obvious.
I mean, yeah, he's right. Like I said, people value money more than they value anything else. I think that's a problem and a bad thing, but Asmon Gold's fucking right. And knows how to nail things on the damn head.
Associated with a conservative think tank, and that everyone should have a duty to say that that is a bad thing to do. So I'm grateful to Kevin for doing that. I think it's a very good thing that he did that. The real issue here is I think that Tucker Carlson's morphing from, I would say, a very edgy right-wing political figure on Fox News, but certainly within the mainstream, into a conspiracist, a person who...
This I totally agree with. I totally agree with Ben here.
Who ideologically launders anti-Semitism, who ideologically launders all sorts of anti-Americanism on his show and then airs it for the public to hear with interviews like the ones he did with Nick Fuentes, which was essentially a massage of Nick Fuentes. I think that took a lot of people by surprise, probably including Kevin.
Most people were really positive about it. If you look at the video, it had a tremendous positive reaction. And I mean, like the likes and dislikes, I mean, it is what it is. A lot of people were really happy about it. Now, obviously, maybe
I didn't read the comment section. Maybe I need to go over that comment section because I don't know. Just because something has a lot of likes and not a lot of dislikes, I don't trust that much on that. I like to read a comment section to also like get a taste of like how a video actually is getting perceived. So I don't know about that one.
friends, and he wasn't happy about it. That's fine. But ultimately, yeah. I mean, I'm not positive about it. Obviously, not everybody is, but I'm saying like if you're making a collective analysis, aren't you?
Washington Free Beacon obtained and posted video of yesterday's Heritage Foundation staff meeting where Roberts apologized for how he's handled Tucker's conversation with Nick Fuentes.
What is this?
Here's part of what Roberts had to say.
What do you say? Is this the bald guy?
I didn't
Yeah.
know much about this Fuentes guy. I still don't, which underscores the mistake. I can tell you with a clear conscience and not making any excuses that those were my intentions, to fix all of that. And obviously I didn't. I made them worse.
We reached out to the Heritage Foundation for comment about the video. We were referred to Kevin Roberts' social media post from yesterday. What's your
I'll watch it
reaction?
after this.
And let me just note that Nick Fuentes has been fairly notorious for years now, including when he dined with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's true.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he did do that. I didn't know much about Fuentes up until very recently, and the more I've looked into the guy, the more I've just despised him. Obviously, because I'm very deeply in my Christian values, and
But I think that really, in order to experience the full wonders of the
and it pisses me off that he calls himself a Christian.
Nick Fuentes catalog, you really do have to spend some time going through the receipts. I did that earlier this week on my show. And the truth is that most people don't watch politics all that granularly. Even people who are in politics don't spend a lot of time on sort of the fringe edgelord right, the way that Fuentes is. And so the sort of mainstreaming, the popularization and normalization of Fuentes by Carlson is significantly more important than just Fuentes' existence, obviously.
He just wants to be a gatekeeper. And it's never going to work. It didn't work with left-wing people trying to keep people like Zoran out. It's not going to work with Fuentes either. It's just, you can't gatekeep people out. You have to.
Nope, he's totally right. The way you deal with these people is you have to figure out a way to make them seem insane and humiliate them. You have to do it through absurdism. That is the best tactic against these people, is you let them sound like the crazy goofball. You get them to say the quiet parts out loud, and then you laugh at them for saying the horrible quiet parts out loud and being like, oh my god, you're fucking evil. Get out of my face.
To beat them in the marketplace of ideas, and if you don't do that, you're going to fail.
Agreed, you have to beat them in the marketplace of ideas. Osmond's totally right.
That's literally it. There's no other way besides that you can overcome an idea. That's it. You can't just tell everybody you're not allowed to. He can't sit at your table
6 days straight.
I mean, it's so simple. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm also looking at my schedule for work this week. It sucks. Whatever.
It's just not going to work. Do you like Nick's views or no? Some I agree with, some I don't. I mean, it's the same with anything. I mean, like, I think he's funny. For sure, he's definitely funny.
He has a sense of humor.
It's not
I'll
like
give
I
him
agree
that.
with everything he
like,
says, but I agree with a lot of it.
I
don't know, really, maybe a lot of it. I'd say like maybe some of it. Depends. I'd have to really think about
was
it.
about to say, I don't really agree with any of it.
It was a seminal.
Like I'm not really a big racist, you know. I don't really dislike races of people, and I'm not really anti-Jewish, but I agree with a lot of what his opinions are on Israel as a collective, but not really in terms of Jewish people as a collective, if that makes sense.
You already know my stance on Israel. It's kind of a, I am only against it so far in, only for them so far in as every country around them wants them erased from the map, and that it goes against the idea of we're all being made in the image of God, so therefore I'm against in that.
moment, I think, when it
That's
comes
simple.
to the right's decision as to whether Tucker himself is a source of truth or whether he is a destructive force inside conservatism.
So one of the things you've noted is that
Well, I think that it's the framing, right? It's that he's the one that's the destructive force. Well, what happens whenever the majority is the opposite of you and you're the destructive force, right? And I think this is the real question that people like Ben Shapiro need to ask themselves, is that whenever you're telling people and trying to, you know, like orange guy bad, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, it's saying like, oh, you can't
To a degree, it is.
platform Trump, you can't talk about Trump, like you can't bring him on, like he's so bad. That will just never work, man. So basically Hassan views on Israel. I think Hassan is a bit more extreme about Israel than I am. I think that like he probably agrees, like I agree with Hassan about like I'd say 70 to 80% about what he says about Israel, but I don't like how I think that Hassan, at least it seems to me, actively denies, I think, a lot of the victimhood that Israelis have experienced again, like by Hamas or by other types of terrorist attacks or bombings. And so I think that you can
Hassan definitely does. And this is where I also encourage Asmon really needs to take a read through the Quran and take a read through the Bible and actually get an understanding of why there are conflicts there and why the Islamic faith is rather problematic for that region.
recognize that, you know, Israelis have experienced trauma as well in this war, while also acknowledging that the country that they're a part of is the, you know, maybe antagonist to that. So like I think that's probably the main difference that he and I have, but I think that's mainly that's like kind of a vibe thing. I don't really care a lot about that. He astroturfs for Hamas. I think that he's not critical enough of them. I do. But overall, I mean, I think it's kind of a dead issue at this point, right? Because it seems like that's kind of winding down, at least hopefully.
I'll tell you this much. It's winding down temporarily. If you actually know anything about these guys' views in the Middle East, it's gonna... Bro, this shit will not go quiet, okay? This stuff does not go quietly in the Middle East. If you've studied the Middle East to any degree for the last 400 years, you would understand that this is not gonna stay quiet for long, okay? That is not a quiet area of the world. It just isn't. It's never been quiet.
it isn't so much, your problem isn't so much that Tucker Carlson had Fuentes on his show, but that he didn't push back at all on the neo-Nazi, anti-Semitic, pro-Joseph Stalin rhetoric, etc. I just wonder, last week at a Turning Point event, Vice President J.D. Vance was asked...
I think this is, as I said before, I talked about this interview that Tucker Carlson did too. I think that actually Ben Shapiro has very, I think, valid criticism towards Tucker Carlson.
I'm glad that we agree there, because I do think it's very valid to criticize Tucker. Like I said, what do I think about Fuentes? He's a piece of shit. Does he deserve a platform? Absolutely. But the kid's a bad people. The kid's bad, gooped in the head is the best way I can describe it. His head's full of goop. He's studied barely anything about history and thinks he knows it all, and he has come up with an incredibly racist take. So platforming him in the way Tucker did is the bad thing. Platforming him at all isn't, because you can use that platform he's making to let it speak for itself and speak for how evil it is. That's what you should be doing, is let his words speak for himself. It's actually what a lot of Christian apologists have done with Islam to actually start the great wave of apostasy in Islam. If you don't know what that is, go look at David Wood, go look at Inspiring Philosophy, start watching their channels. Their channels are awesome, 100 times better than mine. Like I said, I'm getting into this game. They've been in this game way longer. I am learning so many things from Asmon, from all these people. I'm not even in contact with them. I'm just watching them and studying them and studying how they interact. And like I said, these guys started the great wave of apostasy in Islam just by letting Islam speak its ideas and speak its thoughts and policies and the words of its own book, which should tell you something. Pay attention.
That when
pay
Tucker
just a
Carlson
little bit of
interviews
attention.
people that are extremely controversial, that he doesn't press them on their controversial beliefs enough. And I think that it does a disservice to his viewers, and it would be better for the viewers if they were able to.
Yeah, Tucker should be hard pressing everybody, especially a lot of the people he's interviewed. The only ones I can mildly understand are the ones that were dictators that he's interviewed, because that he doesn't want his head removed from his shoulders.
To actually, hear the answers to some of the questions, like, why are you, would you say that you're anti-Semitic? Like, that kind of stuff. And I think that, like, no-Nazi Joseph Stalin, wait, did I say neo-Nazi pro-Joseph Stalin? I don't think that's what he said. Did Ben Shapiro interview Netanyahu with tough questions? I think that's a great counterpoint.
Yeah.
That's a great, that is an incredible counterpoint. I never thought of that.
I didn't watch the Netanyahu one, so I can't leave a comment on that. That's another one I gotta watch, because I didn't even realize that Ben had done a Netanyahu interview. And if he did softball him, I'm gonna blast Ben for it too. Like, you can't softball these people. I'm not a big fan of Netanyahu, I'll give that much. He's a war hawk. That's what I think about Netanyahu. He's a war hawk. Not a big fan of the guy.
Yeah. But I think that you can use that actually to make Ben's point.
Yeah.
Is that if he did, okay, well, maybe he did. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Like I said, I haven't watched it, so I don't know if he softballed him or not. If he softballed him like Tucker did, I got the same criticisms for Ben. But if he didn't...
So I assume that he didn't, but maybe, yeah. Either way, if he didn't ask him tough questions, then it...
Now, I don't like Netanyahu as the current sitting president. I think he's a bit too war hawkish for that state. But at the same time, Netanyahu is totally justified engaging in the war with Hamas. Like, if you've studied Hamas for any amount of time, like...
would assume that he's projecting onto Tucker Carlson. Well, if you're not asking him tough questions, maybe you agree with him like I do. So, yeah.
By a student about an anti-Semitic falsehood. This crazy notion that Judaism openly supports the persecution of Christians. It's not true. But J.D. Vance was asked about it.
So, if you read your Bible to a degree, yes, it does. But at the same time, stances and times have changed. Christians and Jews are a lot more peaceful than they used to be.
Instead of pushing back or correcting the questioner, he said this.
Well, the problem is, like, I mean, I've heard things like this is like, I've never read the Torah or the Talmud, but...
The Torah is literally just the majority of the Old Testament. There is a couple more laws in the Torah, but it's just the Old Testament is the majority of the Torah. So if Asmon's read the Old Testament, which I don't know if he has, then yes, he has actually read the Torah. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
I've heard
the Talmud is a different work, though, I believe.
Heard that basically Jewish people consider non-Jewish people as a separate class. Like, that's the whole Goyim.
So they don't consider you as a separate class. They consider you separate from God, but not worthy of condemnation. It's not for them to do to you.
Thing. And I think that really, I don't know how, and like and a lot of
Islam does that. The Talmud doesn't.
Religions have a variation of this, right? It's
with what I know from Asmon, yeah, he thinks the Bible does. The Bible doesn't teach that. The Bible is very clear, time and time again. We are all sinners. We are all condemned. We are all worthy of death. There's only a belief in Christ that can save you into heaven. That doesn't make me superior to you. That makes me, as a Christian, more in need of telling you about it and trying to get you on that path, because I don't want to see anybody burning in hell.
Not true. Well, I'm just saying, like, this is a commonly held belief that people have.
But a lot of other religions do have that thought process and do actually have that system.
If it's Muslims too? Yeah, I know that. It's a commonly held belief. So I think that really addressing that is important to just say.
There there are some significant theological disagreements between Christians and Jews. My attitude is, let's have those conversations.
Again, I think most of his stuff is wrong. I can get a copy of the Torah and read it, but I think I will quickly find that, as I have been told by many Christians and Christian scholars and things like that, the Torah and the Talmud, the majority of it is the Old Testament.
Let's have those disagreements when we have them, but if there are shared areas of interest, we ought to be...
If you're wondering what I'm talking about, I'm reading Asmon's chat, and I'm just like, no. And
willing to do that too.
It hurts, because it's a lot of
let me
uneducated
guess, that's a
people.
problem? That's a perfect answer. That's what I want to hear. I agree with him.
What did you think of that?
Huh?
Problem?
I didn't hear Vince.
Disagreements. There are some significant theological disagreements between Christians and Jews.
Yes,
my attitude is,
absolutely
let's
there
have
is.
those conversations. Let's have those disagreements when we have
Yeah, just like Paul, let's have those conversations.
them. But if there are shared areas of interest, we ought to be willing to do that too.
And let me
Agreed.
guess, that's a problem?
No.
That's a perfect answer. That's what
That
I
is a
want to hear.
Great answer. Yeah.
I agree with him.
What did you think of that?
That's the Christian answer. By the way, that's been the Christian answer since the birth of the religion. And if you want evidence for that, go read Acts in the Bible.
You know, obviously in a vacuum, I think that answer is fine. I think it's a response to the question, which was asked, as you say, in a tremendously anti-Semitic way, the idea that Jews are persecutors of Christians is an absurd contention. Obviously, I would have preferred more from the vice.
So, to get into this, again, read the book of Acts. You will find that the Jews, pretty early on, and for quite a while, were pretty heavy persecutors of Christians. They participated in the Christian persecution for the first 200 years of the early church. They were very heavy participators of it. They saw Christianity as a Jewish cult and sect that needed suppressed, and condemned and worthy of death. Over time, things have become a lot more peaceful with us as groups and peoples, because Christians often always saw Jews as the closest brothers to God who just need to believe in Christ as the final step to salvation. And we relate deeply with them on that level. So that compassion over time waned down the Jewish instigations of violence that would often sometimes get stirred up in the early days of the church, that over time, especially as Christians grew power, grew less and less. And then obviously there was the problem of Christians kind of started doing it back, depending on who was in charge, and that wasn't right. It's completely wrong. Again, go read Acts, go read the letters of Paul, go read the Gospels. You will find that to be completely wrong, and very unchristianly of those who called themselves Christians doing such
President, but I think the broader problem here is, again, that you have an enormous number of young...
I don't know enough about the actual religion to...
This is my reply to Asmon, is then go read it, go study it. That's what I'm gonna go do. There's probably free copies of the Torah and the Talmud, just like there's free copies of the Bible. They give out free copies of the Quran. Religious texts are oftentimes free. Go pick one up and take the time to read it or study it to some degree. If you don't know something, learn about something.
I don't know.
Young people who are engaging with true white supremacist, anti-Jew content and are taken in by it, and there do need to be more voices pushing back on that.
I would agree with that to some degree, that there does seem to be a heavy anti-Jewish sentiment that is regrowing back in the world, and it's kind of spooky to watch.
Ben Shapiro, we thank you for your voice. Thank you so much.
Has lost at least 20,000 subscribers on YouTube over the past 2 weeks. I read that in his voice. It was Jesus, that was so weird. Okay, anyway, yeah, so let me go back. I'll take a look at it. Okay, so we have Ben Shapiro. Where's his YouTube channel? So where's a recent video that he did pretty well? Bad news for Republicans. Okay, let's see. Is this... Where is it here? I don't know really if that's it. I have no idea. So what are the comments? Okay, so the comments, these are the comments on Ben Shapiro's, one of his recent popular videos, okay?
Glad Asmon's doing this.
America first is inevitable. I will never vote for a U.S. politician that has accepted $1 single from AIPAC. It's hard to support conservatives that can serve nothing. Epstein who is also a small factor, a loss of trust. Maybe Republicans once need to get a chance to stop putting Israel and AIPAC first. The entire Israel issue mess is the real issue. That's
I completely disagree with so many people on the whole Israel thing is the issue. This is the surface level of the pond, not looking at the depths of the ocean. And the depths of the ocean matter is 100% freaking going. How do I phrase this? The surface of the pond issue is Israel, blah 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 blah, AIPAC. No, the depths of the pond is that we have continuously, as Americans, made no laws that allow influence of foreign powers in our elections and votes. And Congress has not posted a single law. The president has not posted a single law or pushed a single law into Congress saying, hey, you cannot take foreign money. Like, that needs to be a law that honestly is enshrined in our Constitution. Not even really as an amendment, just like a, hey, you cannot take foreign money under any form of donation, privately or otherwise, if you're a U.S. politician. That's the actual issue. It doesn't matter where it comes from. The problem is that it's a foreign influence on our nation, and we are taking it and letting the greed consume us and crush us down. And if you want to actually get at the depths of the moral issue, guess what the real moral issue? This is spiritual warfare. This is a problem of the spirit. This is a problem of a lack of religion. This is a problem of having a lack of foundational moral ethics and thinking in our country for probably the last 80 years. And this is the consequences of that.
Why everyone is confused. You, Ben, are not helping. New York has already been Democrat city. Republicans lost because they didn't fix the economy. Well, that's generally true, I would say. We prayed that in 2028 shift that merges MAGA with actually good economics. Yeah, imagine that. And again,
that's true.
Trump is wasting his mandate faster than Bush in 2005. Probably also true. I would agree with that. And yeah, I'm Jewish and Republican. I'm tired of us sending money to Israel and Ukraine. My passport is red, white, and blue. If you want to donate to these countries privately, go ahead. We need to fix our stuff first. Prior to seeing Americans struggling.
I would agree.
So let me open up Social Blade. So is Ben Shapiro actually losing popularity by a lot? Oh.
Ouch.
Oh, shit. So basically, he was cooking whenever Trump was doing pretty well. Trump was doing well, Trump wasn't in office. But as soon as Trump went in office, he went from 70,000 subs to 0, 20,000, 0, 10,000, 0, negative 10,000, 0, negative 20,000. Negative 10,000, randomly gained 40,000. How did you get 40,000 subscribers? You've got to have a sub for this? How did this happen? This seems like an anomaly. Yeah, I'm not sure if I understand this.
Yeah, I don't understand the October spike. That'd be something worth looking into.
So he's only getting, let's see here, you've got like maybe...
Oh, Charlie and his words on Charlie. That might be it.
400,000, or sorry, 40 million views. Wow. So people are actually rejecting this message.
Okay.
So indie games recently have...
So that's Asmon's thoughts on the matter. For the most part, I somewhat agree. Again, I think Asmon, he's someone that a lot of the times looks at the surface of the pond, not at the depths of the issue. And that he sometimes digs into that ocean a bit, but he never actually goes all the way down. And that sucks. But not much you can do for that other than pray about that. This is just my thoughts on the issue, my thoughts on the stuff. As always, like, sub, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you later. God bless.